According to the World Health Organization, 15% of the world's population are people living with disabilities. This is 1 in every 7 people. If we live in an inclusive society, this means that 1 in every 7 people in all spheres should be a person with disabilities. But this is not the case. If you look at our institutions, our schools, even around this room, the persons with disabilities are not as represented as they should be. The challenge with living with disability is usually interaction with the physical environment. What assists visually impaired and other disabilities to counter this is assistive technology. We have wheelchairs for people who can't walk, hearing aids, and even a language to communicate with the deaf and so that they can communicate with each other. As you have seen from the video, I work in the field of visual impairments. My story is, I think it's a story of fate because I found myself in the only integrated school in my country at the time, where I got to study with people with disabilities, and I made friends with the visual impairment. And it only made sense that when I went to do my degree in electrical engineering, that I will use this knowledge to create tools to help visually impaired people. The main problem that comes with visual impairment is mobility. And without the confidence that you'll get from one place to another, really visually impaired people can't move. That's why they don't seek employment, seek education, or are not as engaged in the society as they should be. The only aid that visually impaired people, and this is a global issue, it's not just in Africa or in Kenya where I come from, any visually impaired person, the only aid they have is a white cane, which is basically a stick to help you walk. One of my friends described it as a tool for discrimination, such that when you walk around, people just see you as a dependent, as someone who needs assistance, instead of accepting you as someone who can contribute to the society. Other people have described it as a very primitive tool. And personally also, I've seen it in this age where we are talking about artificial intelligence, space exploration, self-driving cars. There's 285 million visually impaired people in the world who are using sticks to walk. Are we really using technology to build for everyone? So I embarked on this journey a few years ago to develop a tool that would replace canes for blind people. The name that stuck is the Sixth Sense device. And the Sixth Sense is it's a small handheld device that uses echolocation and sonar to detect objects, and feedback to the users is through vibrations. So you can point it to where you're going and you can feel the environment around you. We have IoT integration where we can track the user movement, and in case they're in trouble or distress, they just press a button and it will send a distress message to their contact people with their exact coordinates so that they can be offered assistance. We are using AI and machine learning integration so that each journey is unique and better than the last. The device will learn user patterns, and it's like a tailor-made journey for every single user. So it's very friendly for them to use. Now, the Sixth Sense was shortlisted in 2017-2018 for the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation, which is run by the Royal Academy for Engineering in the UK. And it's a wonderful program where they convert engineers into business people, where you get engineering research and engineering projects being converted into actual solutions that work in the real society. And I'm sure the other academies represented can borrow a page or two. Yeah. During the program, I got to interact with some friends from India. India has a huge population of visually impaired people and blind people, almost 39 million. So we got to work on a project, and the result of this collaboration is the device you've seen in the video. It's called the Fourth Eye device, and it only contains a fraction of what is in the Sixth Sense, but we've seen it changing so many lives. Right now, with over 12,000 users in Southeast Asia and across Africa, the device is changing lives, but the most important thing it's doing is giving hope to visually impaired people. For a Muslim woman in a refugee camp who is visually impaired, life is like almost hopeless. But with hope of new technology that can assist them to carry out the activity, to engage in business, to pursue studies, I think it gives hope for a better tomorrow. 20th of June was World Refugee Day, and we embarked on a 3-month program where we're distributing 1,000 of these devices across some refugee camps. 2 of the major ones are in Kenya, where I come from. We have the Kakuma refugee camp and Dadaab. We have so many refugees who are visually impaired living in these camps, and they are basically doing nothing. So I think this is something that is overlooked, the whole issue of disability. As we innovate, as we build new technology, there's 15% of the population that is usually not thought of. So this is a call unto everyone. As you build a product, it doesn't hurt to just think of this other part of the population. I was very happy here in Stockholm when I was crossing the roads. There's a noise that comes from the traffic lights that aids the visually impaired people so that they know when to cross the road. And this application can be seen in so many areas. In my country, mobile money is huge, and we've seen big telecom companies building voice recognition software so that visually impaired people can make payments, send and receive money. This universal design can be applied into almost any product out there. So as we build our product, as we build education systems, as we build policies, we really need to think about this population. We are talking of sustainable development goals, and it will be crazy to leave out a whole 15% of the population as we work for these goals. I think inclusion is the way forward, and I'm looking forward to the afternoon session about inclusive infrastructure, and I'm hoping everyone can join the journey. Thank you.